subject of criticism, conversation, and gaze for what seems like forever. But what can the ideal form through the ages tell us about our modern relationship with our bodies? Cultural perpetuation of toxic and traditionally able-bodied cisgendered beauty standards have caused people a multitude of internalized issues surrounding body shame, misogyny, and physical and mental health, but those same beauty standards are constantly changing, and that's what we're going to look into for the next few minutes. Let's do the time warp again, all the way back to the years BC, 3400 to be exact. The ancient Egyptians preferred their women with slender, narrow shoulders and high waists, and their men with broad shoulders and lean muscle tone. Ancient Greece, about 500 to 300 BC, preferred fuller-bodied women, while in 800 BC they leaned more toward burlier, even broader-shouldered men. In the Western world, the ideal man of the 10th and 15th centuries slimmed down into more evenly proportioned hips and shoulders. Paintings of the 16th and 17th centuries featured Rubenesque figures of women whose round faces and cellulite were celebrated. The French Revolution and large political change was reflected in fashionable bodies and clothing by the abandonment of former royal attire, so women would wear neoclassical dresses that showed more of the body, and in the mid-17 and 1800s, waifish women who would purposely appear sick were considered beautiful, and this isn't the last time that poor health will be glamorized. And the 1850s gave us what would later become the modern-day men's suit jacket, while women stayed in full skirts. And by the 1870s, men were most ideal when they were fuller-bodied and facial-haired. In the 1910s, the Gibson girl came into view, which was the first supermodel look with tiny corseted waists, full cleavage, and hair piled at the top of the head. In the 1920s, we see the flapper girl, who is a more androgynous, boxy rejection of Gibson girl perfection. With cropped hair and dance moves to spare, this is the first time in a long time women's calves are seeing the light of day. The 1930s welcomed the soft Hollywood siren with the return of the cinched waist, curves, and some bodacious curls to top it all off. The 1940s brought in a boxier silhouette with broad shoulders and the bullet bra for the working girls of the war as they graduated into pant-wearing Rosie the Riveter style. The classic 1950s hourglass pinup girl and the broad-shouldered Letterman jacket jock arrive as the West enjoys a big post-war boom of finances and fun. And then the 1960s twig echoes the 1920s flapper with narrow hips and delicate doll faces. Which moves us into the 1970s with long hair and lean bods with flat stomachs and slim hips. The 1980s go for tall, tan, and muscular as we see bodybuilders come into play. The 1990s went to the skinny supermodel extreme with small, thin frames, while the 2000s ushered in more facial plastic surgery with busty yet flat-stomached women and lean-muscled men. The 2010s mark the reign of the Kardashian-inspired Insta-baddie with a big built butt, hourglass waist, and airbrushed makeup, as well as casual plastic surgery and body modification. At the same time, the rise of body positivity created a counter-movement of enthusiasm for fat bodies, imperfect skin, and natural body hair. As people across cultures fight for the destigmatization of trans, non-binary, and gender-fluid identities, people who may want to modify their bodies also cite gender affirmation as the reason. What this tells us about the ideal body is that it doesn't exist. Whatever our relationship with our bodies, however we decide to alter, decorate, or medically attend to them is our choice. And beauty is defined by us, and so in that way, we can fight against damaging beauty standards. Thanks for clicking around on Low Entropy Connects. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.